boy, baby.
Sometimes I fight hoes, sometimes I ride dick. I was on 125 and Kiss Chris, chillin' all night with Justin Bieber. He was a hot boy, put it in his butt, then leave him. Cassie really can't sing, and a freak they know. I was mad that her ass ain't bigger than J-Lo's. So what you wanna tell me next? I get fed time, cause I wanna pay for sex.
Yeah.
So what I got some baby oil, I mean a whole lot of baby oil. I got lube and a lot of it. Perverted shit put me on the Cosby list.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, and it ain't no stop to this. I can't help it, call the cops for this. And I'ma make your head bop to this. At my party, you gon' take a lot of cock to this. Come on.
The D, the I, the D, the D, the Y, the D, the I, the D, it's Diddy. Hold up, it's Diddy. That's crazy. The D, the I, the D, the D, the Y, the D, the I, the D, it's Diddy. Hold up, Diddy.
I came in the door, pants on the floor. Usher, bend over, dance for your boy. But back to the plan and script. I want you and the man you with. Meek Mill in my mansion strip, in the pool naked. I see ass to
I'm
get.
just trying to keep the candles lit.
Kim Porter fake book made it scandalous. Laugh, but damn, I'm rich. I came too far for y'all to crack jokes. Sucking on Fat Joe, getting them backstrokes. So Rick Ross got wore the hell out. Why you think Dame Dash front teeth fell out?
What?
You want news, better watch TV. It's fake, but it's real if your mind half sleep.
I guess that's what I have to do.
Fake news to the world, make stacks for you. Come on.
The D, the I, the D, the D, the Y, the D, the I, the D, it's Diddy. Hold up, it's Diddy. That's crazy. The D, the I, the D, the D, the Y, the D, the I, the D, it's Diddy. Hold up, it's Diddy.
Listen to the news. The more y'all say my name, the more money I make. We just repeat the stories over and over, and you fall for it. Or, you know, keep saying no, Diddy. Call me gay, call me a freak, but don't forget to call me
Shiny Suit Man!
That's right.
Screws up the classic, screws up the classic, screws up the classic.
Folks, you crazy for this one. Shiny Suit Man.
Yep, Shiny Suit Man. Okay, so let's talk about Mr. Diddy. All right. Okay, so yeah, Diddy today got convicted. He'll be sentenced on October 3rd. So, out of the 5 charges, he got sentenced only for the prostitution charges, as you guys already may heard. And, yeah, there's a lot of interesting things about this conviction happening today on 7/2. It reminds me a lot of the death of Irv Gotti. And we're going to bring all this stuff together because there's a lot of... There's a deeper connection between the Sean Diddy Combs conviction and the death of Irv Gotti, which happened, earlier this year on February 5th, which I covered. Don't forget how old Irv Gotti was, you guys. Let me show you. So Irv Gotti, like I said, he died on February 5th, 2025, and he died at the age of 54 years old. And of course, Irv Gotti, just like Diddy, are major music producers in the hip hop industry. And if you guys remember what happened to Irv Gotti, he died from an apparent stroke. And on the day of his death, remember the rapper 50 Cent was trolling Irv Gotti's death, saying he was smoking on an Irv Gotti pack. And of course, today he's also been on social media trolling Sean Diddy Combs, call him the gay John Gotti, right? Irv Gotti, John Gotti. Notice this post by 50 Cent. He put Diddy beat the Rico, that boy a bad man. He like the gay John Gotti. So he's trolling Sean Combs, just like how he trolled Irv Gotti when he passed away. And the connection between Irv Gotti and Sean Combs is a little deeper than just the music industry. Don't forget that these two, they have collaborated on many projects One of them being, if you guys remember the Sean John women's line party that took place in New York City on October 19th, 2007. This is a photograph from that party. And don't forget who was there. Cassie and Irv Gotti was in attendance for this launch party. And of course, Cassie is the main focal point of these allegations. And again, Irv Gotti passed away this year at the age of 54, which has been a big number in the Sean Combs case. Remember the trial began while Sean Combs was 54 years old, and I remember Gene Deal, who used to be Sean Combs' bodyguard. He showed up to the court wearing a 54 jersey. This was a while back. Let me see if I can find the photo. So here he is. So when he went to court, this used to be Puff Daddy. Like I said, this is Puff Daddy's former bodyguard. Who if you look into his career, he had a lot of problems with Irv Gotti. But he went to court wearing this jersey with the number 54. And of course, Diddy gets convicted today on a date with 54 numerology on 7-2, which are important numbers of the Jesuit order. Jesuit order equals 52, 54, and 72. And like I said, those were big numbers with the death of Irv Gotti, who, if I remember correctly, I think he died from throat cancer. He died from throat cancer. Let me just confirm this real quick. Yeah, he supposedly had a massive stroke. It was linked to his diabetes, but other sources was claiming that it had to do with throat cancer. Let me see if I can find exactly where I saw that at. Because I want you guys to see how all this stuff is all connected. All this stuff is just one big ritual, you guys. Irv Gotti's father. What am I reading right now? Actually, you know what? It's actually John Gotti that died from throat cancer. I'm actually confusing it. But that's funny. That's funny that it was actually John Gotti, not Irv Gotti. Yeah, but okay, so correction. Irv Gotti died from a stroke, but John Gotti, who he was named after, died from throat cancer. And you saw how throat cancer, I actually wrote that in my notes. Yeah, the mob boss John Gotti's death was announced on June 11th, on 11/6. He died from throat cancer. Like, throat cancer is 54 and 72, like Jesuit order. And then Irv Gotti died at the age of 54, and he went by DJ Irv, which equals 72. So that was the part that I was mixing up, right? But the point is, John Gotti, Sean Combs, and Irv Gotti, they all were part of these 54-72 rituals, which are important. Again, important numbers of the Jesuit order, right? Jesuit order is 54 and 72. Today is 7-2, a day with 54 numerology. P. Diddy gets convicted, and of course, DJ Irv, who names equals 72. That was his stage name when he was a DJ. He died at the age of 54. And then Irv Gotti, and then John Gotti, the mob boss, he died from throat cancer, which equals 54 and 72. So all three be part of these Jesuit rituals, right? And they are all connected. Again, Irv Gotti was named after John Gotti, and of course he was the CEO of Murder Inc., which was named after the actual Murder Inc., which was another mob crew, which was associated with the Gambino family. They did have a connection. He actually died 83 days after the actual Murder Inc. Corporation came down. But again, Irv Gotti, named after a mob boss, CEO of a company named after a mob family, dies at the age of 54, and his name equals 72. And then the actual mob boss named John Gotti died from a illness, which has the 54-72 connection. And remember how old John Gotti was when he passed away? He died at the age of 61. And now today, Diddy, he is convicted 61 years after the Civil Rights Act was signed by President. I actually wrote it in my notes. Let me just look him up. It was President Lyndon Johnson. He signed the Civil Rights Act back in 1964, 61 years ago. And again, prostitution is 61. And notice gay John Gotti, which is what 50 Cent referred to P. Diddy as. That phrase has that 61 gematria as well. He's supposed to be the gay John Gotti, because John Gotti was infamous for beating RICO cases. I think he got that name after he beat a few federal cases back to back. They call him the Teflon Don. But yeah, the gay John Gotti equals 61, like prostitution. Prostitution is what Diddy got convicted of 61 years after the Civil Rights Act was signed by Lyndon Johnson, the 37th president of the United States. And again, all this stuff is all connected, right? All 72 rituals, which all points to the Jesuit order, the Society of Jesus, the people behind all this stuff. Again, John Gotti dead at 54, and Irv Gotti dead at 54, and John Gotti dead at 61, and those are big numbers in this case. And notice whose name also equals 54, Cassandra Ventura, which is Cassie's real name. She was born Cassandra Ventura, 54 gematria. And notice today is 241 days. The 241st day of P. Diddy's age. He was born November 4th. If I didn't mention this whole case started when he was 54 years old. He's 55 now. But today is 241 days after his 55th birthday. And that's the 53rd prime number. And notice in Gematria the name Sean Combs equals 53. And you know what else is also 53? Gene Deal. Again, his former bodyguard who went to court wearing a 54 jersey, who also had problems with Irv Gotti. His name is also 53. And notice Wednesday acquitted is also a perfect match. A guy gets acquitted from sex trafficking charges on a Wednesday. Not guilty on a Wednesday. And Wednesday, not guilty and acquitted all 100. You know what was also interesting? Again, going back to Irv Gotti, because all this stuff is all connected. All these rituals, especially when it's all music related, right? It's all big CEOs from the music industry, Irv Gotti and Sean Combs. They're saying that P. Diddy's sentencing will be on October 3rd of this year, which is a long time from now. I don't expect him to do a lot of time. You imagine this guy gets 54 months. People still won't wake up to this stuff. But notice from the death of Irv Gotti, which happened on February 5th, 2025. The word death is 25. He died in the year 25 in a huge Jesuit ritual synced up with Ashanti and Ja Rule. If you measure from the death of Irv Gotti to the sentencing of P. Diddy, you're also going to notice that it's going to be a span of 241 days after the death of Irv Gotti. And think about how he just got convicted on the 201st day of his age. Sean Combs did. Again, that's the 53rd prime number, and the name Sean Combs equals 53. So none of this stuff is organic, you guys. All this stuff is ritualistic, and it's all by the numbers. That's why it fits so perfect, and that's why that's why a lot of these celebrities go to these events. Not because they probably don't even want to be there. Irv Gotti, Cassie just happened to be at that Sean John Women's Line launch party back in 2007, and here they are in 2025 being big headlines all year. Irv Gotti, big headline on February 5th of this year. Cassie's been a big headline ever since this case started. All linked to Sean Combs, who was the person who established this event. Again, so these people, they have connections. They've been linked to certain things. And no wonder why their deaths are all by the numbers and their convictions are all by the numbers. It's because it's the same people controlling these artists are the same people who actually removed them from the scene. One gets killed, another one gets put in prison, supposedly. All being done by the same organization, the Jesuit Order. And 50 Cent, he gets the joke, right? That's why he's coming up with these phrases. The gay John Gotti, which equals 61, like prostitution. A number that connects to the real John Gotti, who died at the age of 61 from throat cancer. Who was also from New York City, by the way. Think about the odds of that. Just like Irv Gotti was, just like Sean Combs. All New York rappers. New York celebrities. Yeah, so let's see. Make sure I covered everything with Diddy. Yeah, just going back to from the beginning of this stuff, we mentioned Jin Deal showing up to court with the 54 jersey. We mentioned how Diddy was 54 years old when this trial began. The pre-trial conference, if you guys remember, that was on December 18th of last year. That was the day with 54 numerology. And we mentioned how Irv Gotti died at 54 this year. Big number there. Big number. And until this is all over, that number is going to continue to show up. This is the death of Irv Gotti. He became the founder of Murder Inc. in 1997 and died in the year 25. Like death is 97 and 25, and 97 is the 25th prime number. Oh yeah, you know what else stands out about Irv Gotti? You guys saw how the actual John Gotti died on 11/6, like our execution is 116. His full name is also 116, like how the real John Gotti died on 11/6. But you know what I found interesting? How Chat GPT was saying that John Gotti is the father of Irv Gotti. I don't know how true that is. Irv Gotti throat cancer. It says it refers to the fact that Irv Gotti's father, John Gotti, was diagnosed with and ultimately died from throat cancer. I did not know that. Well, I don't even think that's true, but if that is, that'll be some crazy stuff. Is Irv Gotti related to John Gotti? That's probably a mistake. Yeah, it says here that they're not related. Okay. He was given the name Irv Gotti by Jay-Z. That's funny. But if you notice what it says here, he was compared to John Gotti due to his rise in the music industry and his association with the Murder Inc. label. Yeah, so again, he was named after the mob boss, clearly, by Sean Combs. And you know what's funny? When he died, he was synced up with Jay-Z. Let me see if I think I documented that. Yeah, he did. You see how DJ Irv, which he went by DJ Irv, it equals 72, like we mentioned. He died on the 36th day of the year. I know that DJ Irv is also 36. And he died 63 days after Jay-Z's birthday, the guy who named him Irv Gotti, supposedly. And then the 27 is obvious because Ritual is 27. So a Ritual, 63 days after Jay-Z's birthday on the 36th day of the year, with a guy with the 72 Jesuit connection who died at 54. Prostitution. I think I showed you guys the gematria of prostitution. It does equal 61, but it does have some other interesting values like 74. We know rappers 74. It's 61 and 74. And notice Jesus, Again, big Jesus numbers. Jesus Christ is 74, and Jesus is 61 and 74. Of course, cross 74, 61, just like church 61. Parables 74. So big numbers there. That combination comes together a lot. But the point I'm trying to make, you guys, is that Diddy did not commit any of these acts. This stuff is all ritualistic. And speaking of 72, don't forget Diddy's father. Notice what year his father died. Melvin Earl Combs. He died in the year 72 at the age of 33. Big number with the Masons, right? He was 33 years old. Died on the same day in history Kobe Bryant died. Another Jesuit pawn who died by the numbers. Don't tell me he died 79 days before his birthday. Oh, man. Yeah, so Mr. Melvin Earl, died on the day with 118 numerology. Of course, death is 118. That at the age of 33. Very young guy. Name is 64. Is also 163, the 38th prime number. And name is also 89, which is interesting because P. Diddy is going to be sentenced 89 days after 50 Cent's birthday, who was born Curtis Johnson. What is it? Curtis Jackson, who names also equals the same thing as Melvin Combs. That's interesting. It's interesting that Curtis Jackson has the same gematria as P. Diddy's father's name. But yet the 89 stands out because October 3rd is 89 days after Curtis Jackson's birthday, 50 Cent. He's worked with Frank Lucas. Yeah, this stuff is all synced up, man. This is amazing. So P. Diddy was 2 years old. He served in the U.S. Air Force. Something tells me that, his father was a sacrifice for Diddy's career. Pretty boy Melvin. Yeah, Melvin is 33. He died at the age of 33, you guys. See that? He got Melvin at 33, you guys. And don't forget, New York is also 33. He was sitting in a car in New York City when he was killed, supposedly. .415 is... Oh, shit. Speaking of 61, look at that. His father died 283 days before his son's birthday, which is the 61st prime number. How about that? And 83 days after Sean Combs' birthday. And Murder's 83 and Combs is 83. See that? So his father definitely died by the numbers and died as a ritual sacrifice for Diddy's career. The name Combs is 83 like Murder. Combs and Murder's 83. Speaking of 83, remember Irv Gotti's died 83 years after the Murder Inc. The actual Murder Inc. Organization went down. But Murder's 83, Combs is 83. Melvin Combs died 83 days after Diddy's birthday and 283 days before his upcoming birthday, which is the 61st prime number. And now 53 years after his death, when Sean Combs is 53, Diddy's getting convicted of prostitution. The son of Pretty Boy Melvin. And 61 years after the Civil Rights Act was signed. Crazy stuff, right? I'll be missing you. There goes just 74 again, right? Like rapper. 191 like Society of Jesus. 74 and 88 are rapper numbers. And this song was supposed to be a tribute to Biggie Smalls, who again, another one who died about the numbers as well. Notice the 74 and 88. Stuff is all connected, man. Kingpins, mob bosses, drug lords. Because remember, Melvin Combs used to work for Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas, the king of Harlem, who was a rat, a snitch in the 70s. Who also had a movie made about him. The American Rat. What they do? How old was Frank Lucas? $88 years old. Of course he was. Yeah, but there you go. Another 83, right? And we all know the Murder by Numbers song, which is funny because doesn't the Police sing that song? I'll be missing you. No, that's not them. It's actually Sting. Wait, you see that? Wait, no way. Is that true? Did Puff Daddy and Sting? Hold on. This stuff is crazy because it's like the more you dig, the more you find. Because look at this Rolling Stone article, right? Diddy actually does not pay Sting $5,000 per day for uncleared song sample. Yeah, because this Sting is the one that sings "I'll Be Missing You," right? And Sting also sings "Murder by Numbers." Yeah, oh my God. You see how this stuff is amazing, The reason I'm saying this is because the song Murder by Numbers, it came out in 1983, and it's sung by the Police. And, of course, the main singer of the Police is Sting, right? And, again, it came out in 1983 because Murder equals 83. And Puff Daddy's father, Melvin Combs, died 83 days after his birthday. And then Diddy remade the songs I'll Be Missing You. He remade the Sting version, "I'll Be Missing You," which clearly is probably a tribute to his father, who died 83 days after his birthday, at the age of 33. But yeah, he sampled this song. He also sampled "Every Breath You Take." So he's stolen a couple of songs from Sting. Diddy actually isn't really keeping Sting's bills paid after the rapper said he paid the former Police frontman $5,000 in royalties per day for the sample of "Every Breath You Take" on 1997 "I'll Be Missing You." Diddy turned around and insisted that it was all a joke, just a joke. Yeah, "Every Breath You Take." That's another Sting song that he remade. And then there's your 83 and 97, like Death and Murder. "Every Breath You Take" is 83. Oh my goodness. Every breath you take. Actually, I think Every Breath You Take is I'll Be Missing You. I think he turned Every Breath You Take into I'll Be Missing You. If I remember correctly, I don't think it's two different songs. I think it's the same song. Yeah, it is. I misread this. Yeah, so it says here that after the rapper said he paid the former police frontman $5,000 in royalty per day for the sample of Every Breath You Take on 1997's version I'll Be Missing You. I thought Every Breath You Take was just a lyric, but it's actually the name of Sting's version. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, but there it is. The actual name of the record equals 83. Like how his father died 83 days after his birthday. Look at that. It's all making sense now. Father died 83 days after P. Diddy's birthday, man. Wow. You know, I was thinking about going down there, but I'm like, I don't want to deal with fans. Because there's going to be a lot of bad boy fans. You know, it's just, these people are very ignorant, and I don't want to deal with that, you know? I hate dealing with dumb people. I deal with enough dumb people on the internet. I'll tell you this much. If I had Diddy in front of me, I'll ask him, like, hey, you think it's coincidental that you sampled Sting's song Every Breath You Take and made your own version of it? And Sting is famous for a song called Murder by Numbers. And in this language of murder, of words being numbers called gematria, the word murder equals 83, like how the song came out in 83. And your father just ended up dying 83 days after your birthday at the age of 33. A big number with the Masons and the Illuminati. And that song you sampled has gematria of 83 as well. If you didn't know that, Mr. Combs. Just like how Combs is 83. All right, but yeah, we'll see what happens on October 3rd with all this stuff. All right. Yeah, I didn't want to go out. I don't even feel like dealing with those people down there at all. But I'll leave it there. You know, hit the like, please, share. 25 viewers, huh? Man, sometimes I feel like this stuff is not even worth, you know, even exposing anymore. Nobody's watching. Unbelievable. But I'll leave it there, you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.